All right, let's look at 4.5 fractions, decimals, and order of operations stuff. Let's look first at how to change a fraction to a decimal. And the way that we're going to do this is just with division, because each fraction line is simply division, which means I have 2 divided by 5. So using long division this way, 5 doesn't go into 2, but it will go into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. I got 0 remaining out of that, and that is my decimal value. Number 3 is going to be a little bit different because it's still division, but the answer is going to come out very different. This one we're going to do 5 divided by 6. 6 won't go into 5, but it will go into 50 8 times. So 8 times 6 is 48. Subtract, I got 2 remaining, which means I need another 0 to drop here because 6 doesn't go into 2. So I'll extend this line. 6 goes into 20 3 times. 6 times 3 is 18. When I subtract, I get 2 remaining. Now, there's something special about this, is we just had a 2, we just found another 2, which means that if I continue this process by dropping another 0, it can go into that 20 another 3 times, and we're going to get another 2. All this means is that the 3 is just going to repeat for an ever and ever and ever, and we can use this bar notation to show that it repeats. So we can simplify this by writing 0.83 repeating, but it's okay to me if you just write it like this as well. But formally, this one would probably be your answer. Well, what do we do with mixed numbers like this one? Well, to change these into decimals, we have this whole value, so it's automatically going to be negative 6 point some stuff. We just got to figure out what 7 divided by 9 is. So 7 divided by 9. 9 doesn't go into 7, but it will go into 70 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63, and we have a 7. But what did we start with? A 7. We already started with the 7. We have another 7, which again, this means that if I drop it, it will go into that 7 times, leaving us with 63 off of that, and another 7 appears. So the 7 is just going to be repeating. We can write this as negative 6.7, which repeats, and that would be our final answer. Next, let's look at some order of operations stuff, because some people really struggle, especially with this exponent stuff. What we don't want to do is distribute that 5.9, because by the order of operations, we can evaluate inside this parentheses. 5 minus 5.2 would be negative 0.2, and we are going to square that and multiply it by 5.9, but let's square it first. So I really have negative 0.2 times negative 0.2, which combine, and that's, of course, came from the square. That's going to combine to give us 0.04. Now I'll multiply this by 5.9, and that would give me 0.236. Number 11 will work the same way, so let's look at our parentheses first. 5.5 minus 1.55. That should combine to give us 3.95, and we're going to square that. 3.95 squared. So we got this 15.6025. Now we can't forget about the rest of that stuff. And this just shows us what we'll do next, right? We got to do 3 divided by 2.5, which is 1.2. And then we would add a 15.6025. And when we do, looks like we should get 16.8025. Number 8, this one usually ends up being a problem, and here's why. Is our brains, we just want to work from left to right all the time, and so we just do this 4.2 minus 1.5, leaving us with 2.7. But we can't do that because by the order of operations, yes, we have parentheses. There's nothing to evaluate in there, though. There's no exponents, but between the 1.5 and the 4.5 is some multiplication. So we can't do 4.2 minus 1.5 first. We got to do the multiplication. And 1.5 times 4.5, I got 6.75. Now I still have 4.2 minus this stuff. So when I do that, looks like it leaves me with negative 2.55. Number 12 is nice. There's no exponents, but there is parentheses that we can evaluate. We got 50.27 minus 35.57. So the 7s will cancel out. That leaves us with 14.7. Next, I'll multiply 18.64 by 14.7, which gives me 274.008. Now again, the idea is to resist the urge to add these two numbers first, okay? Because we did have that multiplication of the parentheses. And then we'll just add these two together. And we have 287.358.